everybody. It is the Stronger Together Tribe podcast here. Becky Mossbrucker, your host. Today, we are interviewing Eva Rado, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her business and how that business will help us. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Becky. Lovely to be here.
So what is your business and what do you do for us? How do you help us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with mums that are entrepreneurs, and I support them through one-on-one coaching to turn a household management into a whole household responsibility, so that the weight of everything is no longer on her shoulders, and she can actually focus on her business with single-minded focus to get it growing.
I think that everybody needs you.
Yeah.
Because at least in some circumstances I know about, the significant other is not always on board 100%, right? So it would be very interesting to me to know how you get someone who's not 100% on board to get the, I don't know, 30 or 40% on board. So can you give us some couple of tips on how you do that actually?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are three key parts to the work that I do. As I said, I work with mum. So we work on her mindset. We work on developing and implementing systems in the home that are not a template, but actually work for the family, given the dynamics, the different personalities, the capabilities, ages, stages of everybody in the house. But the third part is onboarding the entire family. So not just the significant other, but every member of the household. And one of the things that I remind my clients frequently is you're not the only person who lives in the house, who makes the mess, who dirties the dishes, who wears the clothes. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 of you in the house. And every single one of you is contributing to the household needing to be the household management that's needed, the tasks that need to be done. So every single one of you have a responsibility to ensure that the environment is a safe and comfortable place for everybody that lives there. And the key really is communication. So I've developed a collaborative communication process that I teach my clients. And through that process, and the key is communicating through a lens of curiosity, where we can really get into and understand and explore with the others in the house, what is life like for them? You know, why don't they see that the dishes are still, sitting on the bench and need to be washed? Why don't they notice that the washing machine has finished and it's time to hang out the washing, right? What is it that stops them? Or if they do notice it, why don't they do it? Because, as mums, we have this understanding or this expectation that everybody can do and see everything that we do. But we've been raised with a societal preconditioned gender bias.
Yep.
that has taught us to see it and given us an internal expectation of what it means to be mum, to look after everything for everybody. So in answer to your question, it's really about communicating and getting curious and finding out from the other people in the house, how is it for them, and exploring what is working for them, what isn't working for them, giving them the opportunity to really hear from your heart what is working for you, what is not working for you, why it's not working for you, and coming together through the collaborative communication process to find solutions that work for everyone in the house, so that mum can let go of not just the physical load, but the mental load of everything that goes on.
I think you're the only person I have ever met that has ever said anything like that. And that's fantastic, because I think if people understand where you're coming from, it makes it a little easier for them to understand why their answer isn't working or doesn't work for the household. Or I can see my grandchildren the whole time you're talking thinking, yep.
100%.
I mean, and so what is the youngest age that you start this process with?
So most of my clients come to me when they're young, when their children are somewhere between the age of 8 and 14,
Okay.
usually. It's usually at the point where mum's really just gotten over all of the Googling, what chores can my 8-year-old do, and putting up the pretty chore charts, and none of them are working, and stickers and all of that doesn't work. And I have a lot of mums that come to me, it's like they've been slave mum, they've put up these chore charts, and now they're just police mum, and actually hasn't relieved anything in their stress level, or their overwhelm. But having said that, I've worked with people, with preschoolers, to start that process and start to develop that communication, where really it is just mum and dad that are starting that process. But in learning that those mums are also, once their kids are getting that bit older, where they are, wanting their kids to take on some of those tasks around the house, they've already got those conversation skills, that collaborative conversation style. They already understand, and don't have to go through that whole process of trying 50 million different templates that don't work for anybody. And a lot of those mums, the few that I've worked with where their kids are that little, have then come back to me when the kids have started school, or a few years into school, to just revisit and get a sort of a touch up over a few sessions of what word choices and how to change things that little bit, and what's okay to expect and what's not okay to expect at different ages and stages.
So I have two young grandchildren, 5 and 7, and they love to help me do chores, but they want money for it. So how do you get the little ones to understand that the compensation is not with money, it's to help mom so she can spend more time playing with you, or she can take you more places, or go out and have a treat? I mean, I don't know what kind of thing would you tell somebody who has young kids like that?
You are on the money. It's 100%, no pun intended. You're 100% right, Becky, because there is something in that whole dynamic that we were raised in ourselves, where you only contribute to the household because you get a financial reward, and in my view, they need to be completely separated out, because when those children grow up, much like your life as an adult, you don't get a financial reward for managing the household. No. In fact, you've lost finances as a mum most often because you've stepped out of the workforce to look after the kids for a certain time. And most of those mums I speak to or work with who are entrepreneurs have gone into entrepreneurship so they can be the stay-at-home mum, but our modern lifestyle requires us to still contribute an income. So that whole concept that managing the house has some financial reward, it doesn't gel, and it doesn't sit at all. So what you touched on is what I advocate, and that is natural consequences. I'm very big on natural consequences. So absolutely, at particular ages, the natural consequence, or the reward versus the natural consequence, is something tangible. So it could be, if we all, take it, do our part, and everybody makes sure that the dishes are done by a certain time, we can all sit down and watch a movie, or we could go for a walk up to the shop and get an ice cream for dessert, or that kind of thing. As the kids get a bit older, again, it really does depend on their stage of life, but a lot of my clients have teenagers, and teenagers don't care about going out to the movies with mum. The teenagers don't want an ice cream date, right? Teenagers want to hang out with their friends, but teenagers need a lift. They need to be picked up. They need to be dropped off. Well, mum doesn't have time to do that if she's stuck doing all the dishes, right? So that's the natural consequence, right? And I go even a little bit further. There are things in the household, particularly for those children that are that little bit older, that, like, it's their lunchbox, right? It's not up to mum to open the school bag, get the lunchbox out, wash the lunchbox, make sure that it's dry and clean, and make the lunch for them the next day for them to put in their lunch bag, into their school bag, right? It's their lunchbox. If they don't get it out, if there's moldy food in there and the bag starts to smell, well, as mum, why is that any skin off my nose? He doesn't have a lunchbox to put his lunch in the next day that he has to make. So he suffers natural consequence. He has to take it in a bag or a different container, or you know, if he's old enough, buy his own lunch at canteen or whatever. Or, you know, so there are things that I recommend my clients that they step back. Mum really steps back and allows the child at a particular age to take the responsibility for the things that are theirs, and to suffer the natural consequences of not taking care of it. And then there are things that are more general household tasks, and the natural consequence is that, like you said, mum just doesn't have time to spend time with you, you know. And even older kids, there comes a time where they just want to chat, they want to talk, they want to share things. Well, I don't have time to sit and just have a coffee and a yarn with you over something, you know, have a chat. I've got all of these things that need to happen, and they need to happen right now, because tomorrow when you're at school, I'm working. I've got a business that I run. I'm not just at home,
right,
twiddling my thumbs, hoping you've dirtied some more clothing. Like, and so, yeah, 100% natural consequences and non-monetary rewards, as much as possible. Being mindful of their ages, you know, and stage and development and understanding. I mean, you know, sticker charts and teaching habits and teaching process in order to receive a reward that's, you know, a bigger box of Lego or something, because you did do the right thing and you changed the towels in your own bathroom for 3 weeks in a row at a particular age, you know, as young as your grandchildren are, you know, at 7. That's a reasonable life understanding, natural consequence, delayed gratification learning process. But it's still not cash in hand money because you happen to help me unload the dishwasher.
I think that is an excellent idea. And it's funny to me that they want to help so much. You know, I mean, when my kids were little, I know I used to, a lot of stuff did not involve money back then because we just didn't have it. But I would set a timer and I would tell them they had to go clean their rooms. And we made a game out of it. And they loved it because they wanted to beat each other. You know, they were very competitive. And there was never any money to it. It was like, okay, so-and-so won, so let's go get some ice cream. And you get to have like maybe one extra scoop or something that the other one didn't get. And then the next time, the other one, you need to go faster so you can beat the, you know, whatever. And I, of course, you know, 30 years ago, I didn't have this issue that parents have now. I wasn't working from home, but still, they loved the competition. And my grandson and my granddaughter are all about, I won, no, I won, no, I won. It's all about me. I won, I won, I won. So when I tell them we're playing a game or they're starting to fight or bicker with each other, I'm like, it's time to do laundry. And they stop and they look at me and I just smile and they go, okay, right up the stairs they go. They love coming upstairs. So I guess that's a big treat for whatever reason. And we were actually, they were fighting over who was going to put the clothes in the dryer the other day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I never would have thought I would see kids fight over who can put stuff in the dryer for me and then push the button.
And it's fantastic because the more it's a game, and again, at certain ages, competition is a really good way to enhance the game. And then as they get older, you know, that competition can become unhealthy. So you want to probably adjust that and how you reward that. So, you know, instead of it being an extra scoop of ice cream, it might be, okay, well, you know, you put the washing the lawn in the dryer this morning, so you get to pick the game that we're going to play this afternoon, as opposed to it being a winner's reward. It's there was a shared responsibility. You did one task, you do the other task, kind of thing. But yeah, the more you can make it fun, the more you can make it a game in a healthy way, the more kids would love to take part. And that also, they see the joy that that brings you. So, when they see that the adult in their life is loving spending that fun time with them, and also the natural consequence has more time to spend doing fun things that they want to do, playing games, jumping on the trampoline, going for a walk, whatever it is, that is where good connections and deeper understanding of each other is built. And when a house operates in that way, where there is really collaboration and consideration and compassion and understanding, I say we can heal the world one household at a time. Because imagine the kids that grow up with that, the kind of leaders, future leaders that we're going to have, where they actually understand and have the skills to be able to get curious about other people and understand what's stopping them, and find a way to collaborate together from a point of compassion.
Now, see, I never would have thought about that working for them as adults. So that's fantastic. So what age would you say that a young person, I'm thinking, like middle school, high school, should start like doing their own laundry? Because I've had friends who are like, I'm done. You're old enough. You want clean clothes? There's the washing machine. I showed you how to do it once. It's got directions on the lid. You can go read it.
100%. So it's, as I said, there's no template, and we can Google and get 10 different answers of what age and stage different, that children should be able to do things. But your own kids, right. And some kids are capable intellectually and have a dexterity that they can do certain things earlier than others. The key is that we teach them to do it. Because by the time we get frustrated as mums and say, I'm not doing it anymore, and put our hands up, and then they have no idea how to put a fitted sheet on the bed because we've never shown them, that's where then we fall into mummy martyrdom, is what I call it, where it's like, oh, it's just easier, I'll just do it myself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so starting from as early as possible to model and teach and go through that process, which we do very well when we're teaching them to ride a bike, right? We hold on to the back of the bike, and then we walk with them, and then we let hold a bit less and a bit less, and then we've got our finger, and then we stop walking and they don't even realize, right?
Yep.
So that whole concept of watch me do it, I'll do it with you, I'll show you, I'll do it with you. You direct me how to do it to make sure you've understood it. You do it and I'll watch you to answer questions. And now off you go, you can do it. Putting, like you said, directions. My whole laundry has got labels. How to separate the washing, what loads to put on for different types of washing. Like, it's all labeled. In terms of when can they do their own washing, this is the other thing. Different households work differently. In my household, no one does their own washing.
Okay.
We are a team. We are a community. So if you're doing the washing and there's other washing to be done because you need your time, perfect example. This weekend, my oldest daughter put her school jumper in the washing, and she said, "Mum, my jumper needs to be washed, but it needs to be dry for Monday morning. I have to have it back for Monday morning." And I said, well, it goes in the delicates load. Dad's brought down our washing already. Sort it, put on a delicates load, so your jumper's washed straight away. And she's like, but I'm going to work. I said, well, if you do that, I'll hang it out, so at least it starts to dry, right? But the concept that she would do just her washing doesn't exist in our house. In other households, that works perfectly well because of the way that their household runs or is structured, or the dynamics in the family. So, I'm not saying that they can't do their own, shouldn't do their own washing, but you've got to really stop and take a think about, how do you do it at the moment? as mum, do you do each person's load separately, all the washing separately? No, you take everyone's washing and you separate out into the different loads and you do everybody's.
Yep.
So and that's what they've always seen.
Yep.
So the expectation at whatever age, when you get frustrated at 12, 14, whatever the age is, that you just go, you've got to do it, I can't do it anymore, you have to do it yourself, and expecting that they will do just their washing, that creates a segregation.
Yeah.
And in my mind, that's not what we want in our homes. We want to all feel connected. We want it to be our safe place. So my suggestion would be, if you're getting frustrated that you're always doing the washing, go back and have a look at what is it that's frustrating you. Is it that nobody brings it down? Is it that nobody sorts it? Is it that you're the only one that notices when it needs to be hung out? Is it that nobody puts a load? What is it that is the key number one frustration in that process? And then have that collaborative communication and say, listen, I find I'm doing the whole job of doing the washing and I'm not the only one doing the clothes. I need some extra support from you guys. These are the steps. This is the one thing that frustrates me the most. What solutions do you have so that I don't feel so overwhelmed and overburdened by it? I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's perfect, because the more you're saying that, the more I'm thinking, you know what, that would make more sense. Because what if you only have 2 or 3 items as a teenager and you don't have a whole load? What are you going to do? Like, we're not going to waste all that water. So that's, I wish somebody would come unload my dishwasher.
Yeah.
I can get the grandkids to load the washing machine, no problem. But I mean, and they will unload the dishwasher, but I'm not going to let them touch plates and forks and knives and glass cups and that. No,
it is
no.
age appropriate. It is age appropriate. But my other mantra, Becky, is a job partially done is 100% better than waiting for it to be completed 100%. So if all they can do is take out the plastics and put them away, that's 10 pieces less that you have to do.
That's true. I think I'm going to start making it a rule that they have to they have to help me with some chore every time they come. Yeah. Regardless. So last weekend, what were we doing? They came over last weekend, and I told them that I had to clean the house, and I didn't even know you. We didn't even have this conversation, right? So I didn't even think about any of this. And I said, I really have to dust the living room furniture. And they were like, we'll do it. And I'm looking at them like, are you sure? So I let them do it. And, got one person spraying and one person wiping. And then they fought over who should spray and who should wipe. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the spray bottle is hard for them to push because they got little tiny fingers. And I'm like, okay. So we kind of took turns. I would help them spray, and then the other one would clean. And then I made them switch, right? So it wasn't just one getting all the fun. And I had them clean. So they were so funny. They were cleaning 3 tables in the living room. They were cleaning my tables in my bedroom. They were cleaning the office desk in our office area. I had them cleaning all kinds, and they loved it.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
So I just laugh. I'm like, Becky, you should keep doing this, because at some point they're going to be like, we don't want your money, Grandma, and we don't want your time. Like you said, they're going to be teenagers and they're going to be like, we don't want to do this anymore. So I'm like, dang it, I've got to make sure they do this every time they come over, just so they have some sense of helping.
It builds a connection. But I will call you up on one thing, if you don't mind. I hate the word help. In my house, help is a 4-letter word.
Oh, okay.
Because as mum, it might be a bit different as grandma, but as mum, it implies that it's my job.
Oh, that's true.
Not only is it my job, but I can't actually manage it without your help.
Gotcha.
Right? So I don't talk about helping. Obviously, when kids are little, like a 5-year-old, you're still going to say, can you help me unload the dishwasher?
Right.
But by the time they're 7, the dishwasher needs unloading. If you do the plastics, I'll help you by doing the other.
Okay, there you go.
So you swip it, you flip it, right? So you're helping them.
Okay.
And finding other ways to have that conversation. The dishwasher needs unloading. Will we do it now together, or will we do it after we've, gone for a walk?
That's perfect.
Don't use that word it all. You just find a way to communicate that it's something that needs to be done. The expectation is that we're going to do it together. And, you know, you get to choose when we do it, you know, or which part will you do? Are you going to do, you know, when he gets a little bit old, the older one was a boy, yeah?
So, yeah.
When he gets a little bit older, he could do one whole drawer, or one whole, you know, layer, and you will do the other layer, or, you know, and then eventually he can do the whole dishwasher while you wash up the dishes that didn't go in the dishwasher, or wipe the benches down, or like, so it's not help. It's everyone in the house being responsible for maintaining the safe and comfortable environment that everybody needs.
Man, I wish I had heard this 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing 30 years ago, I don't think, but
No, it wasn't a thing even when I had my kids 15, 17 years ago, 20 years ago, it wasn't a thing. Right. And I came to this because I suffered through all of this gender bias and this preconditioned societal expectations myself. And it wasn't working, and I had to find another way to make it work for me and in my house.
I think you found a great way to do it. I love everything you've said. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm writing myself a note that says help is a 4-letter word.
Letter word. Excellent.
And now I have to teach my daughter, because those are her kids. So yeah. I'm like, that nope, we gotta work on this. That sounds fantastic. All right, so we're gonna go here in a second. So you have any specials you want to mention that you have with your company, or anything coming up, any events or anything like that you want to share real quick? I do have a resource that people can access for free on my website. It's www.evarado, or one word, .com/steps, STEPS. If you go direct to that URL, there is a document you can download which takes you through some key questions for those who have listened to this and think that it all sounds great but have no idea where to start. It's a process. It takes you through the process of what is key in your home, what's your starting spot, what's your key area to get going in, to change the household management into a whole household responsibility. And that sounds awesome. I'm going to be looking that up. I can at least share it with my daughter, if nothing else, but it sounds very, very good. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I think you're the only person that I have applications from that has even come close to this topic, and I'm ecstatic, because I'm going to have some new things to learn to do with some little ones in my house, and maybe the big ones over there. Yeah. Absolutely. Work on that one too. All right. Well, they're the hardest, because it's ingrained, and you know they're the most difficult. But it's so rewarding and so possible. I wish we had started young, earlier with my kids, but they're great now, so they're all good. But sometimes the spouses, you got to work on them a little bit more. But they are teachable. They are trainable, no matter what their age. Never too late. I have to say it loud enough for him to hear me. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it. And I will put links in the show notes for all of your social media, where everybody can find you, and any information that they need to look up. I'm sure they can get in contact with you. And thanks again. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Thank you, Becky. It's been great to be here. Oh, you're welcome.